Black Friday is upon us. In fact, we call it in our company, I don't know how many of you do this, but we call it Black November because there's like deals all month long. In fact, it's the biggest month of the year. So number one, it's all the more reason to get serious about your business. But number two, I really think it's important to have this conversation because of what's going on with the economy, what's happening in the world. If your business is stuck, let me help you get unstuck. And a lot of it has to do with our mindset, our perspective, our philosophy. So I'm going to help you today, but let me tell you something. Some of you need to make some tough decisions. Your business isn't growing because you're out of shape. It's not about body shaming or it's just health. If you're promoting a health and wellness product, doesn't it make sense to get in shape? I'm not saying it's easy. You think it was easy to quit drinking? No, I haven't drank alcohol in 14 years. It was hard. Really freaking hard. Best decision I ever made outside of probably marrying Nadya. How about quitting smoking? You think quitting smoking was easy or hard? If you had to guess, the answer is obviously yes. It took a lot of willpower. By the way, when I quit drinking, I didn't do AA. I didn't do any of that. I just made myself quit. I don't think that's easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it had to happen. For me to be a better husband, a better leader, a better entrepreneur, I had to quit drinking. I was terrible half the time. Plus the hangovers, the expense. I mean, there's so many other reasons, but mostly because when I would get drunk, I would make horrible decisions, say things that I would wake up the next morning and regret. How many of us can relate? Now listen, some of you don't need to quit drinking because you don't have like an alcohol problem. You might have a mindset problem. You might have other problems, right? But you don't have an alcohol problem. Like Nadya can drink a couple glasses of wine and she's done. She's good. That's it. 2 glasses of wine. Me, that was like just getting the party started. You know what I'm saying? That was like pre-gaming. So I'm just giving you examples for me. Now you might say, well, what does getting in shape have to do with my business? Everything. Just everything. What does quitting smoking have to do with growing my business? Everything. I know it doesn't seem to be a direct correlation, but it is. It helps you show up differently. Maybe it's time to buy a new phone because your phone sucks. And you're like, my phone sucks. I can't do videos. Then buy a new phone. It's a tax deduction. Like, invest in you. Let me ask you a question. What book are you reading right now? What podcast are you listening to? How are you growing you? Because everywhere you go, there you are. If your business isn't growing, my question is, are you? If your bank account isn't growing, my question is, are you? How are you growing you? What are you listening to? Let me be very clear. I never, ever tell you getting rich is easy. I never tell you getting in shape is easy. Some of these things I'm talking about will be extremely difficult. How about just getting out of your comfort zone and doing videos or reaching out to your chicken list? For some of you, that's it. You're already healthy. You already quit drinking, or you don't have an alcohol or smoking problem or whatever. You don't have, any bad addictions. Like I will say, I still have addictions. I have addictions. I have an addiction to Nadya. I'm infatuated with my wife. There's nothing wrong with that one, right? I have an addiction to my business partners and helping them grow and helping them win. And, I have an addiction to social media. That's what people you have an addiction to your phone. I mean, I guess, sure. I don't see that. As long as it's not an unhealthy addiction and you're not on your phone when you're with your kids and you're not on your phone when you're, date night or on your phone late at night when you should be going to bed. There are some healthy and unhealthy addictions. Would we all agree with that? Now, I guess you could say, well, it's never good to be addicted to anything, but I'm addicted to working out every day. You understand my point. Yes? So you need to grow you. You need to make some tough decisions. Anytime I made a tough decision, anytime I made an investment in myself, to enhance my business, things started to grow again. We started to see momentum again. Like, let me give you another little conversation I hear recently. Oh, well, people aren't spending money right now. Things are tightening up. Well, that's interesting because I was just in Punta Cana and the resort was packed. Now, obviously, that was a company escape trip, but guess what? The airports were packed. People are still traveling. If I go shopping, there's still lots of people shopping. There's still people buying things on Amazon every day. The point is, yes, people might be tightening up a little bit. Maybe they're not spending as much money, but I still have people on my team rank advancing. I still have people joining my team every day. The point is, people are still buying. People are still joining. And here's the thing. Would you agree? Some people have a 401k that's now a 101k. How many of us know people that, they're in real estate, and real estate's starting to slow down because the rates are higher. How many of us know people that are making less money in their sales job, or their company is starting to slow down? They're doing layoffs. The point is, people are going to be looking for something new. This is your time to shine. This is your time to show up. What a great time to sacrifice, TV and Netflix and watching sports. Like, instead of watching someone else live their dream, instead of watching someone else play a sport, throw a ball around or shoot a ball into a basket, instead of doing whatever you typically do that doesn't grow you or your business, maybe it's video games, I don't know. This month, maybe just for the next week, don't do that thing. Whatever that thing is that typically takes you away from growing your business, don't do that thing the next 7 days or the next 21 days. Like, you would be shocked. You would be shocked by how much time you waste, or people in general waste, on a day-to-day basis to avoid doing what's really necessary to move the needle. Creating conversations, creating curiosity, showing up on social media, reaching out to that chicken list, reaching out to those people that you don't know that well or haven't talked to in a while. So we all have something that's holding us back. But whatever you lack, you attack. Some of you need to give up some things to go up, right? You got to give up some things. You got to give up to go up, to grow up, to start to build the business of your dreams. And what's holding you back, you would think like, okay, well, how is smoking cigarettes or how is eating junk food holding me back in my business? It's a big part of it, because if you don't have the worthiness inside of you, like you don't feel worthy of success, and you're beating yourself up because you're eating junk food, because you're watching too much TV, or you're scrolling on social media, you're guilt tripping yourself. And subconsciously, that is impacting everything else you do. This is such a big deal. Now, it could be something as simple as go for a walk 15 minutes every day. Maybe you just walk for 10 minutes after every meal. Again, if you get in shape physically, it's going to help you get in shape mentally. I have seen people, and I'm not trying to make medical claims, but I've seen people overcome some pretty miraculous things over the years, just because of personal growth, personal development. Now, personal development's great because you're listening to something or reading something. Personal growth is taking action. Some of you spend too much time in learn mode and you're a know-it-all. At some point, you need to remove the L. What's the point of learning if you're not growing, if you're not taking action? In fact, I've learned more from action taking than I have ever learned from reading a book, listening to a podcast, investing in a course. It's through the action, the activity. It really is interesting because people say, I don't feel motivated. I'm not motivated to work out. I'm not motivated to work my business. But it's the law of inertia. See, the law of inertia states a body at rest tends to stay at rest. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, I got to go do a video for 30 minutes, do a 5-minute video. Instead of saying, oh, I got to go work out for an hour, go work out for 10 minutes. So sometimes you have to do the thing you don't feel like doing, till eventually you feel like doing the thing on a consistent basis, and it becomes a part of your routine. It becomes a part of your habit, right? A positive habit, a good habit replacing a bad habit. Again, we all have different goals. We all have different aspirations, but if you don't feel worthy, if you're self-sabotaging and you're your own worst enemy and you don't want to do videos because you don't think you look good, you don't feel good. Do you see how it's a direct correlation? This is not just about your business. This is about health, your overall well-being. I mean, think about how much better you'll feel to do videos, to reach out to your chicken list, to follow up with people, to show up with energy, enthusiasm, posture, to enhance your belief if you get in shape. If you commit to, again, stopping some bad addiction, whatever that addiction is. And can you do it? You absolutely can do it. Will it be hard? Absolutely. Some of you, it has nothing to do with physical. It has nothing to do with like an addiction. You need to eliminate some people out of your life. You need to stop spending time with energy vampires, with negative Nancys. You don't want to hang out with vacuums, right? You want to hang out with battery chargers, people that get you fired up about your life, about possibility, people that speak life into you, people that encourage you, support you, love you. Start spending more time. Look, we all have heard the saying, right? You are who you spend the most time with, right? Take the 5 people you spend the most time with, average their incomes, and that's what you make. Now you might say, well, John, how can I hang out with you? Well, you can't, but you can watch this. Like, we can't hang out on a consistent basis, but you can watch videos like this. You can listen to our podcast. You have to do the freaking work. And when someone tells me, oh, well, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that, it's like, well, stop watching the freaking news. Like, what does watching the news have to do with my business? Just everything. Just everything. All that toxicity and negativity pouring into your freaking soul, pouring into your brain. You don't need none of that nonsense. But I don't get caught up in that nonsense. This is why, like, some people are like, why do you have 2 phones? Because I am crazy efficient. Like, I'll be listening to an audio clip on this phone while I'm responding to messages on my other phone. Like, I work my face off in the morning through the early afternoon. Now, later in the day, maybe not so much. I check my phone sporadically here and there. I'm not responding to leads, or I'm not as proactive later in the day, but I've created that perfect day. I've created that schedule. And some of you don't even know what that is. Like, what's a perfect day? Well, let me ask you this. What would your perfect day look like? And I'm not talking about like just sitting on the beach every day, sipping cocktails. Because let me tell you this, that actually wouldn't be your perfect day. That might be your perfect vacation day. That wouldn't actually be your perfect day. Your perfect day should consist of, a workout, a healthy breakfast or lunch. I know some of you are fasters like me. I don't really eat breakfast, right? It should consist of a piece of content. It should consist of doing your follow-ups. It should consist of like moving your business, right? Moving the needle. Now you might say, well, what would that look like? I mean, I have a full-time job. Okay, great. So start mapping out a plan to fire your boss. Start mapping out a plan to get out of that job. Because unless you absolutely freaking love your job, and let me ask you this. Some people say, well, I love my job. Really? Yeah, John, you don't understand. I love my job. Really? Would you do it for free? Because I'm actually not getting paid to do this video right now. I'm actually doing this for free. Do you think I love it? The answer is pretty obvious, I would say. I think the answer is pretty obvious. Now, of course, you might say, well, of course, John, this also helps you grow your business. You're mentoring people that are on your team. You're attracting people. Sure. But I actually love this stuff. I freaking love it. Obsessed. Hashtag obsessed. That's what it takes to be successful. That's what it takes. The work ethic, the hunger, the desire. But again, if you're stuck, your business isn't growing, what are you doing to grow yourself? What commitments are you making? What do you know you need to give up to go up? And a lot of that stuff is not business stuff. It's personal stuff. Getting out of a toxic relationship, spending less time with toxic people. Like I said, quitting some of those addictions, drinking, smoking. Like for me, I had to quit drinking. I'm pretty sure Nadya and I would have divorced many years ago if I didn't quit drinking. I certainly wouldn't be the leader and the mentor I am today if I was getting wasted like I used to, blacking out once in a while. No, that would not. Nobody would look at me as a mentor. You remember people at their worst. I love it. I love that a lot of you want to work for yourself. You want to be a full-time network marketer. There's nothing better, but let me tell you this. It took me 7 years to fire my boss. 7 years to fire my boss. Some of you are 7 months in and you're discouraged. Oh, poor thing. You're not making a lot of money from your phone from home. Do you know what I had to do to build my business back in the heyday prior to? I didn't download Facebook until 2008. I didn't do my first video until 2013. What do you think I did for those 5 years when I was a full-time network marketer? Grinding, hustling. My hustle muscle was ridiculous. We worked from 8 a.m. till faint. We called it 8 to faint. We were on the phone 24/7. We were never home with our kids, with our family. We were out every night, grinding, hustling. But you know what? I paid my price. So you might say, man, the results, the lifestyle, what you guys have today, we paid the price to get to this point. This was not easy. Just like quitting smoking wasn't easy. Quitting drinking wasn't easy. Anything worth doing ain't easy, but it's worth it. That's the key to success. You got to have long-term vision. You know, Tony Robbins says it best. People totally overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year and totally underestimate what they can accomplish in 5.